Hi everyone. I used to work in the city centre of Glasgow, and 5 days a week I would leave Glasgow Central Station and walk along Waterloo Street. One morning I looked down onto the curbstone and I found an arrow that had been chiselled into the curbstone. Never gave it any more thought. The following day I walked past, there was the arrow, and then I found a cross. And I thought, fair enough. Again, I didn't think too much about it, until the following day there was the arrow, there was the cross, and then there were initials. And I thought, who's carving these into these old granite curbstones? So I did some research, just in case it was a Glasgow thing. It's definitely not a Glasgow thing, but what I did discover is they are across the whole of the United Kingdom, and no one really knows what they mean. And I thought, I wonder if there's any in Paisley. You bet there's some in Paisley. There's lots in Paisley. Now I've got a few photographs of the ones I've found, so enjoy these. Cue the music. Another thing I've discovered is that these symbols are actually unique to the towns and cities in which they appear. I was recently in Leeds and I found some there which just do not get found in Paisley anywhere. So the meanings of these symbols have been lost in time. 100 years ago, those who needed to know what they meant knew what they meant, so there was no reason to write them down. And as time has gone on, their meanings have been forgotten. It's been suggested online that these might be mason's marks, but sometimes you find two different symbols on the same stone. I don't think that's the case. I think they were probably used for marking utilities, such as gas, electricity, water. I had to put that theory though to the test, and that was done in Caledonia Street. I printed off a map of the Caledonia Street and Glen Street area, and then marked any symbols that I found on the curbstones on the map, just to see if there was any correlation. There wasn't. A possible reason for this could be found right here outside the Fountain Gardens. So what's this arrow pointing at? Old maps show that nothing has ever been built here on the Fountain Gardens. It's always been grass. But I've got a theory on this. Over the last 100 years, pavements have been dug up and relaid, roads have been dug up and relaid, and the curbstones have been lifted, carefully piled up and then replaced. But sometimes pointing outwards, sometimes pointing inwards, maybe upside down, maybe replaced with curbstones from other parts of the town. There's a modern example of this. I'm on Love Street just outside the Sheriff's Court. This area was landscaped in the 1990s, and the planners decided to leave a row of the original curbstones here to show you where the original alignment of Love Street was. Now there's two I'd like to show you. There's a cross here and a cross and an arrow here. Those symbols only point to a side wall. So those curbstones have been lifted and then replaced. They might have come from this side of Love Street, they might have come from the other side of Love Street, which has now been obliterated by some filter lanes, or they may have come from another part of the town completely. What I had to do was to find a curbstone with a marking which hadn't been moved in 100 years. How was that possible? And then I found one. Back to Caledonia Street. Right, we're back on Caledonia Street, and I'll show you this curbstone. And there's the symbol, it's an arrow. It's on a curved piece of granite, and it must have been there since day one because it was specially made for that curve. So what does it point to? A fairly modern office. And what was on that corner 100 years ago? Tenement buildings similar to these ones. Sadly, we may never find out exactly what these symbols mean. One thing for sure though, once you've seen your first one, it's very hard not to look for more. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. There will be other Paisley related videos coming out shortly, so please subscribe, that way you don't miss out on any of them. And also give me a thumbs up as well, I appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for viewing, and I'll see you next time.